Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Prof. Pakorn. Good afternoon, Dr. Sunu. Yeah. Good afternoon, Bu Fitri. Good afternoon also our beloved participant, Prof. Liliasari, Pak Hari Firman, and also our participants from all over Indonesia as well as from our neighbor countries. Yeah. Today we're going to have a seminar, a webinar entitled How to Publish in Reputable International Journal. This is part of the activity from World Class Professor program, yeah, achieved by Ibu Dr. Fitri Hoirunisa, World Class Professor Simbe. Yeah, it also organized by from Department of Chemistry Education, Indonesia University of Education, or Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tusi Widianti. I'd like to act as a moderator for today's session. Well, can I share the rundown first, Bu Mita? Yeah, okay, this seminar, where's the screen? Okay, can you, Bu Mita, can you please share the screen? Yeah, this seminar, the participants can use feature Zoom chat. So if the participant have a chat, if have a question, you can use the room chat, yeah, or you can raise your hand and then you can ask directly in the Q&A session later on. And also the e-certificate will be given to participants that follow the seminar until the end. So at the end session, we're going to provide you with a link for attendance list, yeah, has been mentioned in number 4, link for attendance list will be given in the end of seminar via Zoom chat. So please be aware with the chat, yeah, with the chat at the end of the session. And then you can also note the attendance link will be closed at 4 p.m. and participants that doesn't fill the attendance list will not receive an e-certificate. So yeah, other miscellaneous questions related to the seminar can be asked via Zoom chat, yeah? Okay. Well, actually, this the rundown for this World Class Professor Seminar 2 will begin with the first speaker from Associate Professor Pakorn, Associate Professor Pakorn Oppa Prakasit from Thailand. Yeah, later on I will read his CV, and then followed by Dr. Sunu Wibirama from Universitas Gajah Mada, and then the third speaker is our beloved Ibu Fitri Hoirunisa, PhD. And after those 3 speakers, we're going to have a Q&A session and then closing. We usually have lots of questions, Professor Pakorn, yes, so that we put it all together at the end part, so yes, sure, we can have a discussion, lots of discussion there. All right, so next one is, I will invite you to present your presentation, but before that, I will read the CV of you. Okay, yeah, Prof. Pakorn. Associate, our first speaker is Associate Professor Pakorn Oppa Prakasit, PhD. Yeah, he is head of Department of Common and Graduate Studies, or CGS, SIIT. SIIT is Sirindorn International Institute of Technology. Yeah, he also acts as a director of Center of Excellence in Functional Advanced Material Engineering, and yeah, the SIIT is part of Thammasat University. Yeah, Prof. Pakorn, Thammasat University, Pantum Thani, Thailand. All right, and his educational background, he got his bachelor degree, Bachelor of Science, with first class honor with gold medal in chemistry, mashallah. Chiang Mai University, Thailand. He also got obtained a Master in Science in Material Science and Engineering, Polymer Option at Pennsylvania State University, USA, 1997 till 1999. He also pursued his PhD in Material Science and Engineering in the Pennsylvania State University, USA, since 2000 until 2003. His work experiences, probably I will read it from the very last, from March 2016 until present. He is a head of Center of Excellence in Material and Plasma Technology. And then from April 2016 until present, he is an executive board of the Material Research Society in Thailand. From November 2016 until February 2019, he is a Deputy Director for Research and Academic Quality Assurance, SIIT. And from August 2018 until present, he is a Fellow, Thai Academy of Science and Technology Foundation. And since February 2019 until present, he is a head of Department of Common and Graduate Studies at SIIT. Well, yeah, and some of his current research, the research is related with bio-inspired materials, plastic products with super hydrophobic surfaces, materials and sensors in food innovation and smart agriculture, functional plastic products for packaging applications, artificial intelligence in chemical detection or sensors. He also involved in the research related with the environmental and radioactive waste treatment application, lactate-based copolymer and biopolymer for use in biomedical applications, lactate-based aliphatic aromatic copolyester for packaging and agricultural applications, drug and fertilizer control release materials from polyactid and its copolymer, modified natural rubber for biomedical applications, as well as electrospun nanofibers from lactate-based copolymers and chitosan in biomedical, especially medical glove, energy, biodiesel, and environmental wastewater treatment application. He is a very long CV. So we're going to learn from his expertise, about how to publish in a reputable journal. Okay, Associate Professor Pakorn Opa Prakasit, without further ado, I will invite you to the stage. It's not really a stage, to the screen. So the floor is yours now.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction. I need to apologize that I think I have a technical problem on having the feed of my video. So, but I'll show my screen here.
Yeah, the screen is really clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it show up correctly?
I can only see half of your screen, Prof. Pakorn.
Only half?
Yeah, only half of your screen presented in our screen.
How about this one?
We see your screen as well as the screen after the next screen.
The note as well. Right?
Yeah. Nah, this is perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd like to share some of my experience on get the work publishing, and also thank you very much for this invitation to join the WCP program and from Professor Friedli and also UPI, and also thank again for the introduction. So I will try to spend about 40 minutes on this topic. Okay. So let's start with this question, right? Why do scientists want to publish, right? So if we look at this cartoon, there are many reasons, right? Maybe for PhD degree, get funding or get promoted. However, this may not be the answer that the one who want to allow you to publish, which are editors and the reviewer and also the research community. So basically, when scientists want to publish their work, right, they want to share with the community, right, about the advances or not repeat one, and also the knowledge and the understanding in the field of their expertise. So by publishing the work, right, the scientists can build their career records, right, CV or reputations, and this help guarantee the intellectual properties of scientific contributions. So it helps to encourage scientists to share their knowledge, right? And also very important is here, it create the competition among scientists, right, to be the first to publish. And this is very important because there is no second in science, right? If you are not the first one who report, you are fighting, and the second is nothing. You cannot report that anymore. Right? So this is very, very important. And also, this also help to further research, right, based on the report, the study that already reported. So from this, you can see that if we want to fit in here, right, literature review is the most important thing. So you need to be aware of what people have worked on already, and before starting your research work, right? So this is the key word that we need to be aware with. Now, once you do the literature review, right, and you have a very comprehensive design of your experiment, and you have very comprehensive result from your work as well. Now you need to evaluate if your work now is suitable for publication or not, right? So if your work is on the left-hand side right here, outdated work, incorrect conclusion, or duplicate of other works, this is not ready for publication, right? However, if you evaluate your work and it is original results or methods, right? And very important one here, have a significant enhancement, right, of the published work that already reported, right? So you are probably ready now to report your work to the community. So once you know that, okay, your work are ready, right? But you also need to keep in mind now, when you want to submit a paper, right? Many people will invest in you. The first group of person will be the editor of the journal and that you want to publish, and reviewer who will review your work, right? After that, if your work are published, right, so many researchers, right, will invest their time to read your work, your ideas, and your findings. And also publisher also invest some time and resources, like some money, to the review process for your work, right? So you can see that many people involved in the publishing process. Therefore, you need to keep in mind about this and make your paper of high quality and aim for the appropriate quality of journal that you want to publish. So now you need to consider, is your work or your paper that you are writing, right, worth others people's time or not, right? So the key is you need to look at the quality and the value of the work. So once you think that the quality and the value is good, now you can make your a manuscript, right? The manuscript need to be clear, useful, and contain some exciting message, right? Now, so you need to keep in mind about this, right? What journals do not want. If your work, right, has no scientific interest or not, right? If your work is out of date or duplication of others, right? So this is not good. Or if your work leads to incorrect conclusion, also may not be suitable for publications, right? The last one here is also very important, right? Salami papers, right? You have only small piece of important information and you try to make it to be meaningful. Or this is also may not be suitable for publication as well, right? So two things you need to keep in mind. Content is very essential. Content need to be very clear, very useful and exciting. Not only that, right? If you want to have a manuscript suitable for high impact journal, right? The presentation of your content is also critical as well. So it needs to convey in a logical manner. And when the reader read your paper, they need to come up with the same conclusion as what you want to say. So when writing a manuscript, right, what the readers want, so you need to write in the way that are simple enough, right, to make people with less experience, right, to understand and also can reproduce. Because when you publish paper, there are many people who read your work and they have diverse level of expertise. For example, graduate student may read your work and they want to repeat your experiment, right? They have quite less experience, so your work should be simple enough for them. However, it also should deliver the deep knowledge, right, to attract the interest of the experts in the field as well. So you need to balance between this. And when people read your work, right, so they may want to understand and get the important information very quickly. They may not want to spend so much time because their time are quite valuable. Right? So, and also they do not, they should be able to understand the significance of your work, right, without much effort. So these are all the guidelines that we should keep in mind when we write a manuscript. It may not be easy, right? But you need to work on this and then to get the skills on this. Now, once if we have like some manuscript and we want to publish, right? Which type of articles we want to choose? There are many type of publications, like full articles, letter or short communication only, right? Or review papers or conference proceedings. So you need to be familiar with a different type of publication and then choose the appropriate one with the quality of your work. if we look here, why should we publish in like reputed journal or high impact journals? If we look at this data right here, it is the name of a published paper with what we call citation, number of citation. And the last column here is the year that the paper is published. If you look, the one that have quite low number of citation right here from conference proceeding, right? But if you look at this one, right, the publication year are almost the same, but this paper get more than 4,000 citation, right? One of the reason is, not one of the reason, the most important reason here is because this paper is in index in very well-known database and very high quality. The impact factor is quite high, so it get very high citation. So it means if you want your work to be visible, right, or read by others or cited by others, you need to aim for the journal with higher quality. Right now, it is not easy, right? But there are some guidelines that you can practice and try to get there. And also, if we know that now there is another option of publication that is called open access, right? There are journals that are completely open access. Every article in the journal are open access. Or some subscribed journal also provide the option for open access for specific article as well, right? Where the author may need to pay some money to get it open access to everyone. This also can enhance the visibility of the paper as well at the same time. So we also need to think about this as well. But you may also know that open access also have some disadvantage or misuse as well. But I will not go into the detail, right? But open access is also one of the options that can enhance the visibility of your work. So now, before, right, submitting or writing your manuscript for publication, this may be the checklist that you want to look through to check the originality of your work, right? So how? So you may want to think if your work is new or interesting enough, right? New and interesting may not be the only thing, but it needs to be challenging, right? So as well, right? Not so easy question, something like that. Yeah. And also the work may be very in a hot topic or the current interest of everyone, and can provide solution to difficult problems. So if your work can fit into all of these questions, right? If you answer yes for all of these questions, you may go ahead and then try to prepare your manuscript. Now, how can you choose the right journal for appropriate with the quality of your work? So one thing you need to do first, the most important one is you need to choose only one journal. You cannot submit one work to more than one journal. This is a very serious ethical issue. I will talk about this in detail later on. If you have no idea what journal you should use, you may consult with some experienced colleagues or supervisor, something like that, for ask for a suggestion, right? Once you do all of this, right, you may come up with a short list, right, 4 or 5 candidate journals, right? So once you have the short list of the journal, you then can go to the website of the journal and look into detail, right, what they want. If you want to publish with their journal, right? So get into the detail of each one, the requirement of each journal. These are some tools that can help you identify what journal should you use. Right? So the first information that you can look at is called Journal Citation Report, or JRC. This information may not be free, but you can search the internet, and every year there will be a report on impact factor of each journal coming out. And the impact factor here tell us the quality of the journal, right? So every journal that are indexed by ISI should be reported in the form of impact factor here. So you can look at the highest one, like the highest quality, and come down. This is the first one. Another database that getting more and more popular now is from Scopus and also Science Marker journal report. Right? So this also assess the quality of the journal as well, right? And classify them according to the discipline, and then classify them into a four quartile. Quartile 1, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? Something like that. And also give much more information about the journal. Right? So this can also help you choose if the journal are suitable for your work or not. Also, if you are familiar with Scopus alone, if you search the name of the journal from Scopus, you can also get some information that can tell the quality of the journal as well. That is called size score rank right here, rank and percentile of the journal in specific discipline. For example, here, if I look at this journal, polymer degradation and stability, right, in material science discipline, this journal is at 91st percentile, which is very, very high quality, right? We call tier 1, right? And in engineering field, it is 98th percentile, for example. So this can give you the information about the quality of the journal. And if you click at this material science discipline, you can also bring up a list of all journals that are classified in this discipline, and then starting from the very highest quality until the lower one, something like this. So then you will have some idea about the quality of the journal, and you also need to assess the quality of your work, right? And then you can match which journal should you submit to, something like that. I'll go to this. So once you decide, right, and you have the appropriate journal to submit to already, right, you may need to go to the specific detail to prepare your manuscript. This should be described in the section that is called the guide for authors. So all the important information are listed here. You need to follow this if you want to submit your work to this specific journal. Right? Every journal should have this. Right? You can try and search for the information. Also, if you go into the detail from the guideline for author, there are some very important guidelines that can be applied in general as well, right? About how to make a good manuscript, right? For example, here, if we look here, one example, it is the guideline for writing introduction part, for example. You can say, generally, the last sentence in the introduction part should state the purpose of the work that are carrying out, something like that. So this is very, very common. Right? Every journal should have a similar guideline as well. Right? So this is applied to many, many journals. Or the result one, this which is listed right here. So it means that if you read the guideline from one journal, right, it may not only specific for that journal, right, it is also general information for other journal as well. So these are the general structure, right, of full articles. Right? You should have title, right, author's name, abstract, keywords. Right? So this help in the indexing and searching, making database. Also, you need to make this informative and attractive. And the main part should consist of introduction, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. And also at the end, there will be acknowledgements, reference, and supplementary materials. So to write a good manuscript, right, normally we start from general at the beginning, and then we go to more and more specific points that we want to say. And then at the end, we come to the general concept again. Right? So this is very common for writing a paper, right? So in the introduction part, like the first paragraph, you should write information that is more general, right? And then the second, the third paragraph, you go to the more specific one, right? And so on. And then at the end, you come to the general one again, right? And also at the end of the paper, right, which is conclusion. The conclusion should come to the general part, right? Because when you conclude what you find, it will be general information. Right? So this is the basic or the general rule that we do when we write a paper. But now, the guideline or the structure is look like this. But when we really work on the writing, right? The order of writing go this way. Right? When you start to write a paper, you need to look at your result first and then try to organize the result. Make all the result into figures or table, right? So when you do this, you can combine all of the important result and then try to organize your idea, what you want to present, right, to the reader. So once you make the figure and the table here, you have them ready. Now you can go back, right? You can then write about the methods, right? How you get this figure, how you get this result. After that, you also explain in detail about the result, right? Explain the figures, the table that you have, or the result that you have. And you come up and you discuss your work, right? You compare your work with those already reported in the literature, right? If your result agree with other works, or if your result does not agree with them, something like that. And also try to point out the important part or the new or the significant of your work. Once you do this, you then can conclude, right? Give the conclusion. Right? So once you have the conclusion, now you can come back and then write the introduction part. You try to find some information that are related to your work, right? To introduce, right? To write the introduction part that can lead to your work. Then you can have everything almost ready for the manuscript. So at the last step now, you write an abstract. An abstract is actually the summary of everything that you have in your paper. Right? You summarize everything, right? You summarize the introduction part, the methods, the result, the discussion, and the conclusion into only one paragraph, less than a page of paper, right? And once you have the abstract, you can also come up with a very good title of your paper. So these are the general practice that we do. Right? Now, let's talk about how to make a good title. So the title should address or identify the main issue of the paper, right? And it should be very concise, short, and catchy. So the short and the catchy one, right, are often better cited. Let's look at some example here. Look at action of antibiotic on bacteria. Right? If you look at this title, is it good enough? Maybe you can see that this is too broad, right? Too general title, not catchy at all. Right? So what if you can go into more detail? So how about revising into inhibition of growth of the name of the bacteria, right? By the name of the antibiotics. Right? So this can give the that covered all the important information that you want to give to the audience, but short enough and also catchy enough. The word like preliminary observation or prelim study is not appropriate, right, to put in the title, right? Because your work should have enough data or very important or significant, right? Prelim result is not good, right? You should not put this term into the title of your work. Right? So those are some examples of making effective title for your paper. Right? So study on or the nature of something like this, you should not put this in, right? It makes your title longer, but with no other additional information. Right? So from here, right, you can make it better look like this, for example. Now, some noted here, right? The title or the topic that are oriented to local or national may not be quite cannot catch attention of the reader. Right? If you look at all of this paper, they are usually based on like local or national work, and you can look at the citation number here, get 0. So maybe we need to try to avoid this term in the title. Right? You can put this in the detail of the experiment, right? But not the title. After you have the title, you need to go to the keywords, right? The keywords also should be more specific, and also you should come up with the list of the keywords that are quite popular in your field, right? If your keywords is very specific, not many people know, right? That is also not useful, right? Because keyword is used for others, right, who search for the information to see your work, right? So you need to come up with the word that are quite common in your field, right, but represent your work, something like that. Now we go to the abstract. Right? The abstract should be brief, usually not only one paragraph, right, but and only about no more than 2/3 of the page, for example, that can summarize all the problem, right? The introduction, the methods, the result, and the conclusion. So that's why abstract is written, right, at the last stage of the presentation of the manuscript or the paper. You need to finish other section before writing an abstract. Make it clear and understandable, easy to understand. Normally, there is a rule of 10 here. 1 or 2 sentences. Right? If the total abstract, right, consists of 10 sentences in one paragraph, 1 or 2, right, should be on the introduction, the objective or the aim of the work. 2 or 3 sentences go to the methods and the materials or the instrument that are used. 2 or 3 sentences as well, right, on the result, what you see, right? And then the discussion and the conclusion, right, about 2 sentences after that. So this is quite a general guideline to make the good looking abstract. So I have an example right here. You can see this part, right, is objective. This part right here is the design and the methods, the result and the conclusion. But everything here is in one paragraph, right? 1 or 2 sentences, 2 or 3 sentences. So this is like general practice. Now, many journals now require you to prepare what we call graphical abstract as well. Graphical abstract here, if you can make them very, very good looking and catchy, and it also can sometimes get you have higher chance to be accepted for publication as well. Right? And also, once your paper is published, it is also get you more or higher chance to be read and also to be cited later on. So you can find some example of graphical abstract already in the literature or in the journal, and I only show some of good example here that contain have very complete information that you want to give to the audience, but also look very interesting or look very attractive in terms of graphic. Right? So these are some good example of graphical abstract. Even though some journals do not require that, right? It is also very useful if you can do this for every paper that you prepare or every manuscript that you prepare. Because even though you do not submit this to the journal, but when you want to show this on your website, for example, right, this can get more attention to the reader as well. And also, if you want to go and give presentation on your work, you can use this right away on for your PowerPoint presentation. Right? So this is also one of a good strategy to practice as well. Now come to the introduction part, right? So the introduction part should start from very general information, right? Go to the more specific one, and then come back to the general one again, right? And the introduction part should explain the problems, and then describe your approach to solve that problem. Also, you need to mention about the existing solution, right? The solution that are already available, but there should be some limitation, right? The solution that are available is not good enough. That's why you need to do your work, something like that. So the concept of making introduction should be this way, right? Explain the problem and then talk about the existing solution, but not complete yet. So that's why you need to do your work. You need to report your work. So in this case, you can see this right here, right, is on your approach, and this is the problem or the limitation of existing one, something like that. And it is very important to give citation on every sentence that you put into your manuscript, right? Especially in the introduction part, because this is literature review. It means you read some paper already, right? And then you come up with this summary. So you need to give appropriate citation. After that, you need to go to the methods, right? Experimental part that should describe how, right, you study, right, how you do the experiment, for example. this is very important. The information that you give in this part or this section, right, should be enough, right, for others to repeat your work, right, to repeat your work. You need to identify the equipment or the materials that are used, because in some work, if the purity of the chemical are not the same, and people repeat your work, they may not have the same result, something like that. So it is very important, right, to identify the specific information on materials or the equipment that we use. Now, when we do experiment, right, we probably have lots of information, we have lots of result, and unfortunately we cannot report all of them, right? So we need to identify which are the most important, and we report the important one, primary important. But if we see that some result may be also important, but may not be as important as the one that we report, we can give this as a supplementary data, right? So right now, almost every journal provide this opportunity for us, because every journal usually have online database, so they can store lots of information, right? Especially supplementary data. Now, in the result, right, we should present your result in the form of figures and table that are very clear and efficient way. And also we need to provide statistical analysis on the result. This is very important. The result should include main findings, right? And we should state the differences of our result to other or previous or other results that are already published. This is very important. If you cannot tell the difference of your work, right, with other work that are already reported, it means your work is not new, right? When your work is not new, it means your work cannot be published, right? So very, very important to tell or to highlight the difference of your work. Visualization is very important, right? You need to make your result in the form of a graph, right? A table, plot, or figure that look good. So this, if you want to find some more information, you can go here. If you look here, on the left-hand side here, right, you can see this author report some result, and this result is very, very complicated. If you try to read this paragraph, right, you may not get any information from here. So you may not, you may want to put this into a table or into a plot, right? So this is not acceptable. On the other hand, if you look on the right-hand side right here, this is a table. However, the information in the table here is very simple, right? The temperature is the same, number of experiment is the same. The only difference is the growth from 0 to 78. If you look at this, right, you think this table is not required for to present this result. Like only write in 1 or 2 sentences, you can cover all of this information from the table, right? So this table is not needed. These are some examples, right? You need to look at your result carefully and decide, right, what you should do with your result. Then go to the discussion, right? So you need to tell what your result means. This is the most important part, right? So you need to discuss the result. If you only report the result with no discussion, right, your work has no value at all. Right? You need to discuss what is going on with the result that you have. And the most important thing is you need to compare, right, your result with others. And you need to tell if this agree with others' work, or it is different from others, or uh, how much, or how they are different, or the significance of the difference. Right? You need to state this into the discussion part. Right, so you need to compare, right? And also you need to discuss about limitation of your discussion and leads it to the conclusion. I'll skip this example and then go to the conclusion. In the conclusions, right, you do not need to repeat the result. Right? You just conclude, right, what you have from your result and your discussion. Right? You do not need to repeat the result because everything will be repeated in the abstract already. Right? But you may need to discuss about the use or the extension or the application of your work in the conclusion part. This is very important. If you can say about the importance of your work that leads to application, this can increase the chance of acceptance of your manuscript as well for publication. So I will skip here. How much time I still have left?
You still have like 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. Okay. So the conclusion, right, should be you should emphasize the contribution of your work to the specific area, right? The important significance of your work, and also possible future work. You can say this in the conclusion part. And then you can go to acknowledgements. You thank some people, your collaborators, your advisor, if you're a student, financial supporter, or the scholarship that are provided to you, something like that. References, right? You may not want to include so many, right? Too many references. Now, very important one is this one, right? Try to avoid excessive self-citation. Right? For example, if you have like 30 references and you cite yourself 15 of them already, this is not good to do. Right? People try to do this because they want to make their citation number or H index, the increase in the H index. However, people do not look at the overall citation, right? Because it is very easy now to exclude self-citation. People will look at the self-citation excluded number, right? So try to cite your own work only the most appropriate one, right? Not too many. I'll skip this. Then we go to the submission of the paper, right? After we have the paper already, we submit the paper, right? We need cover letters. We need to know about a little bit about peer review process, the revision, the rejection, and the ethics issues. So when you submit a paper, you need to prepare a cover letters to communicate with the editor at the beginning, right? You need to tell the editor about the important, right, the novelty of your work and the main finding of your work. And also you need to suggest some potential reviewer to the editor. Right? So this should be in the cover letters. And these are some example of sentence that we should put into the cover letters. You need to tell the editor about your research area, your expertise, and also your current work, right? This can introduce yourself into the editor and then lead to the significance of your work that you are submitting to. You need to declare that there is no conflict of interest, or if any. So if we look at the peer review process, right? So when you submit the paper, the editor will assign this to the reviewer, and the reviewer will look at your paper and decide if it is good or not, right? They can reject your work, or they can recommend for revisions or accept your work. So these are usually what the reviewer look for, right? Importance, the novelty, right? Clear progressions, and well presented paper. Take the revision suggestion seriously, right? So if there are comments from the reviewer, the comments are very, very useful, very helpful, right? So because these are usually means to help you to improve the quality of your work, right? Do not take it as offensive, right? If the reviewer require minor revision or major revision, right, you also still need to take all of those seriously. Doesn't matter. Some minor revision, if you do not take a good care or respond to that comment, some paper can be rejected even though it is minor revision as well. Right? So we need to take care and respond to the comment for the reviewer in a proper way and provide as much information, right, to answer all each specific comments. I will skip this, and these are probably the good one. That what can get your paper accepted, right? So attention to details, check and double check your work, consider the reviews, right? Proofread, English is very important, right? Presentation, the structure of the paper is very important as well. Take your time in the revision, acknowledge all peoples, right? The new and originality, novelty is very important. Right? Ethics is also important. If your paper is get rejected, it is okay. This is common. Everyone get rejected somehow. All right. So try to understand the reason that the reviewer or the editor reject your why they reject your paper. Right. Reevaluate your work. Right. So if you still think it is important, it is still high quality. Right. You need to do some revision. Right? And then try to resubmit this to other journal. But you need to be careful. Do not just resubmit a reject paper directly to a new journal. You need to do some revision, right? Because who knows, when you submit the same article to a new journal, you may get the same reviewer. You will be in trouble if you do that. Some ethical issues. So this will be the last topic already. We need to take this very, very seriously. We should not do this, right? Multiple submission, right? Redundant publications, Plagiarism is very important. Right? Data fabrication and falsification. You cannot do this. You cannot put author that do not do anything into your paper, or you cannot leave out someone who contribute to your paper from the author list. Okay? Very important. If you want to talk about others' work, right, you need to practice what we call paraphrasing. This is very important. Right? You cannot just directly copy a words, right, or sentence into your paper. Self-plagiarism is very important. There are some gray area, but you need to be careful, right, about self-plagiarism. Plagiarism is easily detected now, right? We have so many type of tools to check if you copy sentence from others' work, right? So you can use like Turnitin. You can use Google, right, to help try to evaluate your writing, right? Try if you see some sentence that are exactly similar to others' work, you need to do the paraphrasing, for example. Because if you do not follow this guideline, right, there are very, very serious consequences. Many paper are retracted, right? Retracted means if the author of that paper, right, did something that does not follow the ethical guideline. Right? Once the paper is retracted, it is not just being removed from the database. The paper is still there, but with rejected note on your paper. Right? People will know that you did something wrong, and this stay forever. It is not good to do. All right, so once you have your paper published already, you may want to promote your work, right? You may want, because you spend lots of time, right, lots of effort, right, try to make this work. You want many people to read your work. Right? You can do that by creating your researcher identity, right? Google Scholar, Scopus ID, Researcher ID, ResearchGate ID. All of this you should do, right? And then you should meet some people in your field. Right? This is very important. Networking with the peers in the field. Right? You can do this by reading. If you read some people's work, you can email them or something like that. Try to attend conferences, right? To meet with people in the field, right? Who knows? The one that you meet here will be the reviewer of your paper in the future, right? And this happen very frequently, right? So if you can do this, it can help a lot in getting the chance of your work to be published easier in the future. Yes, I think that is all the information that I want to share with everyone today. And thank you very much for your attention, and enjoy publishing high quality work in high quality or high impact journal. Right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Pakorn. It's just so interesting because we have been reminded about how to make the good paper. Yeah. Still from we have to reflect, is our paper worth enough for people's time? It's also there's something that we have to remind that content is essential and presentation as critical. This yeah, it's a bit feedback, I think. Excuse me, Dr. Pakorn. I put your microphone muted because it's echoing. So yeah, your presentation also gives us a reminder about how to structure of a paper and the tips for each aspects, yes, from the title, keywords, abstract, graphical, introduction, method, result, that we have to highlight it, the differences, conclusion, references, cover letters, peer review process, as well as ethical issues and that can promote our work. But another thing that we also remind your presentation as your practice in writing the paper is not following with those aspects in the manner, but you also switch the order. Yes, start from the figure. We have to decide which figure and how the figure will be presented, as well as the table, and then we discuss the method, results, and discussions, and then we go through the conclusion and introduction. And then we go back to the abstract and title. That's a very good tips, I think, yeah, for all the participants. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Pakor. Now I'm going to invite the second presenter. Ibu Mita, can you please share the screen about the Dr. Sunu, yeah, Sunu CV. Yeah, for the second presenter, we have Dr. Sunu Wibirama from Universitas Gadjah Mada. Yeah, his full name is Dr. Eng Sunu Wibirama, Sarjana Teknik, Master of Engineering, and he is not act as an assistant professor in Universitas Gadjah Mada Indonesia and the chair of IEEE Systems, Man and Cybernetics Indonesian chapter, and he is also a head of Signal Processing Laboratory. Well, his educational background start from his bachelor electrical engineering Universitas Gadjah Mada. His master degree was pursued in electronics engineering, King Mangkut's University of Technology, Led Krabang. And then his doctoral degree was obtained in engineering in science and technology, Tokai University, Japan. Yeah. Okay, for his research interest is in human-computer interaction, user experience, artificial intelligence, eye and gaze tracking applicants, and his working experience from 2007 until 2008, he was a researcher in Department of Electrical Engineering and Information Technology, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Gadjah Mada. And from 2008 until present, he acted as an assistant and also faculty member of Department of Electrical Engineering and Information Technology, Faculty of Engineering in Universitas Gadjah Mada. The publication, we cannot mention it one by one because more than 69, 25 journal, 44 seminar proceedings, and his H index is 8 with citation 371. Okay, now some of his publication is related with physical discomfort and eye movement during arbitrary and optical flow-like motions in stereo 3D lens. And also the next title is an improved pupil localization technique for real-time video oculography under extreme eyelid conclusion, which published in International Journal of Innovative Computing Information. Another paper entitled A Robust Image Enhancement Technique for Underwater Fish Classification in Marine Environment. And the next is a new native video filtering based on OpenGL ES4 mobile platform, which published in International Journal of Advanced Science, Engineering and Information Technology. Yeah, here is according to he's an expert in electrical engineering, but from his vast amount of publishing, we also can learn about how to publish in reputable international journal from Dr. Sunu Wibirama. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Dr. Sunu Wibirama to present his presentation. All right, Dr. Sunu, now I will give the floor for you. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, it's clear, Dr. Sunu.
Yeah, okay. So let me share my screen. Oh, I also thank you very much for Professor Pakorn. Wadihap. Sabedi mehap.
Wadikap.
Wadihap. So I think Professor Pakorn already explained all, yeah. Nothing left for me, I think. Okay, but let me share my experience as well. So because perhaps some of the participants coming from another field of perhaps electrical engineering or information technology or biomedical engineering, perhaps. So I really hope that my experience can enrich them to publish a good scientific paper in high reputable journal. So I will start with this funny picture. Yeah, actually, when you are studying in bachelor or master degree or perhaps PhD, I think all of you have experience in writing. Yeah, whether you are writing practicum or you are creating a report or everything that you did in your past education. I think most of them were related with scientific writing, I think. Yeah. However, unfortunately, most of us are not well prepared for this reality, especially if you are academicians or if you are researchers. I think we have to spend a lot of time, to invest a lot of time trying to improve our skills, because scientific writing actually is our main tool to communicate our idea or to communicate our finding in our research to other people, whether those are that are who are similar field, who are working in similar field, or those who are working in different fields. And if we don't prepare how to write appropriately, then perhaps you will have like ultimate headache. Yeah, because yeah, I personally think that scientific writing is quite difficult for me. In particular, when I was a master degree, that time I enrolled in King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lat Pratang in Thailand. At that time, I was the first time for me to learn how to write in English appropriately. That was a painful experience. Yeah. And after that, I tried to improve my skills by joining a lot of workshops or by reading a lot of books to understand or to improve how I can express my idea in proper English. So I really suggest you all of participants that if you have time or if you aim to pursue higher education, then please spend your time to learn scientific writing. And as you know that when you try to publish a scientific manuscript or scientific paper, then the reviewer will see that writing or your paper is the first phase of your research. In fact, improving quality of presentation is easier than doing your research itself. So when your paper is not so good, or the presentation is not good according to the reviewers or editors, then they may think that your research is also unacceptable for publications. That's why we should improve ourselves. We should improve our ability to good at English. That's the main task of us who are non-native speakers. And also in scientific publication, there will be efforts from the editors and reviewers to the peer review process. So there are actually four main reasons why our manuscript is rejected. I think some reasons already explained by Professor Pakorn in the previous presentations. But the first reason and the main reason why the manuscript is rejected is there is no scientific contribution. So this is the main point. Almost all papers, almost all manuscripts that are submitted to a high impact factor journal, normally they are rejected because those manuscripts do not present additional knowledge to the community or to the readers. So this is the main reason. So there is no scientific contribution. And then the second reason is invalid research. For example, if you did cheating in your experiment, or the reviewers and editors find fraud in your data, or you did inappropriate experiment, incomplete description of research methods, this is unacceptable, I think. So please try to remove those flaws so that your research will be more valid and it can be replicated by other researchers. And then the third reasons why scientific manuscript is rejected normally is low readability. So when you use English, please try to improve your English by inviting, for example, proofreader. If you are not able to proofread yourself, then you may invite a native proofreader. Try to rewrite the sentence so that native speakers will read it easily. Yes, normally we convert the writing based on our own culture or our own language, and sometimes that is not acceptable for international readers. So you have to invite native speakers in order to check whether those style of writing is appropriate or not for international readers. And the fourth reason why a manuscript is rejected is because the manuscript is out of interest and scope of the target journal. Normally, you have to keep your eye of recent publications in your target journal. So make sure that before you submit a paper in a target journal, you read some recent papers, recent publications in the target journal, just to make sure that you know what is the hot issue or what is the interesting topic that readers in that journal are interested to read on or to download the papers. And about the first point, the scientific contribution, I think all of us perhaps have different definition, but let me illustrate the scientific contribution by using this picture that you see in the presentation. Suppose that we have illustration of words knowledge, just like this abstract borders. See, we cannot draw it rigidly because we don't know what is the real border, right? But suppose your knowledge is inside the border, right? And you want to contribute your knowledge to the world, to your society, then of course you cannot contribute in a wide area. Normally you have to contribute in a small area, in a narrow area. So your contribution will enlarge some part of the border like this. That's what we call by big leap. Why big leap? First, you have to make sure that you have a firm foundation of your basic knowledge. So if you are working in, for example, Professor Pakon working in chemistry, and I'm working in electrical and information technology, I have to be I have to read the basic science or perhaps mathematics that underlie some of the publications in my field. So you have to make sure that you have strong knowledge here, right? Strong basic knowledge, and then you can read a lot of research papers. And normally when you want to publish a research papers, then you have to read at least 5 years, 3 to 5 years prior to your publication. In my field, I have to read at least 2 until 3 years prior publications because my field grows very fast. I'm working in artificial intelligence field and human computer interaction. This is very these are very rapid growing fields. So I have to make sure that I know what is the latest trend in those two fields. So make sure that you read new research papers, you follow what is the latest trends in your field, just to make sure that you can enlarge the border of your field. Okay. And normally there are some types of scientific contributions in your own field, but in my field there are at least 5: electrical, information and biomedical engineering. First is working on old problem with new method. This is called improvement type research. This is the most common research type in my field. Yeah. So for example, if you want to publish a research paper, then you have to make sure that your proposed method or your proposed algorithm or system is better than a previous one. This is called improvement type research. So your contribution is normally in the method section. Yeah. And then the second contribution is in the problem itself. So you can use old method, you can use old techniques or approach, but you have to make sure that you address new problem. This can be done by doing collaboration with researchers in other fields. For example, if you are working in information technology field, you can collaborate with other researchers working in pharmacy. They are normally highly knowledgeable in doing, like creating a compound of medicine or something like that. And for example, they want to know whether a new substance will result in a side effect or not. Yeah, given that they have the recording or they have the data of prior compounds or prior medicines and their side effects, then you can predict the upcoming side effects by using the artificial intelligence. This is called using old method to solve new problem, because AI itself is old method. Yeah, it has been around since 1940s. Yeah, but you can use it to solve new problem. Okay. And the third one is using new method for new problem. This is just a combination of the first and the second contribution. And then this fourth one is proving a theoretical model or computational model with real implementation in hardware. In electrical engineering, we have a very profound example. Yeah, fast Fourier transform. This is prior to the public to the real implementation. This is just a theory, mathematical theory. But after that, there is a researcher that can convert the mathematical theory into real implementation in the hardware, so that it can be used in a limited resource hardware, for example, like in the embedded systems or small resources, computers, something like that. And then the last one is development of low-cost method, technique, hardware, or system with equal performance of existing method, technique, hardware, and system. This is also a good contribution in electrical, IT, and biomedical engineering field. In particular, this last contribution normally leads to patents, or copyright. So before you submit, before you publish the paper, it's sometimes some researchers, they try to register the patent before they publish the paper, so that if the research can be commercialized, then they have the right to commercialize the research afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so now I will share some quick tricks on how to get published. I think Professor Parkorn already presented awesome tricks, in the previous presentation. I learned a lot from Professor Parkorn's presentation as well. But the first one that I want to share, you please try to identify the target journal before you do the experiment. This is my own experience, because if you try to identify the target journal after you do the experiment, then perhaps the reviewer will catch the error, or will tell you the error in your method or in your experiment after the review process. Yeah, so you don't want to get this kind of revision, right? Because sometimes it's quite difficult to to do the revision, you have to do more experiment, or you have to buy more substance to in order to do the experiment. So you have to make sure that before you do the experiment or before you do the research, please try to list some target journals, so you have the standard of operational procedures to get good data. Yeah, the most important thing in your research is try to get good data, so that your results can be published in a high level journal. Yeah, try to get good data, try to create a good experimental research, or try to do good material and method sections afterwards. Yeah, by first, yeah, listing what is your standard. Yeah, what is called by publishable results. So first, try to identify the target before you do the experiment. And also, please try to identify your audience, because when your topic match with the audience, you will have higher possibility to be cited. Yeah, your paper will have higher possibility to be cited by the readers. Okay, this is the first step. And then the second step, you have to compose the introduction and the discussions. This is quite difficult, yeah, for early career researchers. Yeah, even for me, when I was in a master degree or when I was studying PhD, those two sections, yeah, introduction and discussions, were the most difficult sections to be written. Yeah, so you have to pay a lot of attention in order to create a good introduction and discussion sections. How? Yeah. Step 2, you have to understand how to read the technical papers. Yeah. Normally, you don't have to read all papers that you download. Yeah. So first, you have to skim the papers by checking the date of the publication. This is important because you have to make sure that you read good and also up-to-date papers. Yeah. Please remember that good references in the introduction normally go 3 up to 5 years prior to your publication. So if you plan to publish next year, yeah, 2021, yeah, 2021, you have to at least read references or papers at most 2016, yeah, 2016, 5 years prior to your plan to publications. Yeah, so please try to get updated references to make sure that your research seems new to the readers. Okay, and then you can read the abstract, read the keywords as well, read the introduction, skim the conclusion, and try to observe the figures, tables, and results, just to make sure that you understand the whole picture of the papers. Yeah, and then you can decide by yourself whether the paper is relevant or not for your research. Yeah, if your paper is relevant, or normally I call it key papers. Yeah, I will proceed with deep reading of the technical papers. Yeah, so I normally during the deep reading I read the papers and also write. Yeah, read and write. Yeah, so during the reading I also ask. Yeah, I also criticize the paper, such as I'm trying to ask whether the contribution is significant or not, whether there is disadvantage of the proposed method, whether the result can be verified or not, etc. Yeah, so you can use those list of questions just to make sure that you can critically analyze the content of the paper. Yeah, and after that, please try to find the gap. Yeah, please try to find the gap from those key papers. Yeah, normally you don't need a lot of key papers. Normally, based on my experience, yeah, there are at least 10%. Yeah, normally you will find from all of your references that you read, normally there will be like 10% that can be categorized or that can be classified as key papers. Yeah, for example, if you read like 200 papers, this is normally by PhD student. Yeah, based on my best practice, if you are PhD student, at least you have to read at least 200 papers. then normally you will find that around 2 until 30 papers, yeah, are the key papers, yeah. But from those 20, you can then squeeze, yeah, you can then squeeze, perhaps you get 5 up to 8 key papers, yeah, that are really relevant with your research. And after you get those key papers, then you will you should find a common disadvantage or research problem that you can propose in your manuscript as a gap that you want to solve, yeah. So this is the way that I did when I write a research paper. Normally I will create a table. The table consists of date of publications and then the authors, venue of publication. This is important because you will probably submit your paper to the same journal. So you have to identify what kind of international journals that normally researchers in your field submit, yeah, to it, yeah. So you have to know what kind of journals that relevance with your field, and then you have to identify what you know about the article, yeah. For example, what kind of materials and methods they propose, what is the novelty, what is the problem, etc., etc. And then please try to put information that you don't know, yeah, or you need to know, yeah. And if you can find similar problem in more than 3 papers, then you can use this as your gap. Remember, we have to find the disadvantage of at least 3 or 4 papers just to make sure that you can compose the introduction section in a very smooth way, yeah. And after that, you can create the full table like this. And this is very easy to be used in your paper because you can see what is the originality of your manuscript, yeah. For example, in my research 2018, yeah, with my students, we understand that the contribution is here, yeah. You don't have to understand what is this and this, but you can see that all of those prior works, they don't include the signal processing and drifting correction, yeah. And in my research, I include these methods, yeah. This is how to compose the originality of our manuscript, yeah. So please try to identify what is the gap found in prior works, and then try to create the table just like what I present to you today. And at that time, you can plan what is the difference, yeah, between your research and prior publications. Okay, now we proceed to the 4th step. So you have to prepare the flow of the article, yeah. When we as a reader read a research paper, we want a good storyline, yeah. We want a good storyline because normally we read a research paper, perhaps we don't read it at all once in a day, yeah. Perhaps we will continue the day after today or 2 days after today. So please try to understand your readers, yeah. If you create a good storyline, then you will make the reader comprehend your paper easier, okay. And then you have to make sure that the content is also original, and the claim of the novelty should be supported by valid experimental results, okay. And then after that, you have to make sure that you write well introduction and abstract, yeah, and you have to make sure that the experiment is replicable by other researchers. And finally, you have to make sure that the discussion provide new insight, yeah, not only describing what happens, but you have to say, you have to write what is the implication of the results, or why you get those results, and how the results fill the gap, how the results answer the hypothesis. This is very important also in the discussion section, okay. And this is the storyline, yeah. This is I think this is very famous picture. I normally show this in every lecture related with scientific writing, yeah. So if you want to compose a paper, please try to imagine that you are working with 2 pyramids, but those pyramids are at the opposite direction, yeah. at first you have to say a general introduction, a general issue in your society, yeah, what is important issue faced by the society, and then try to explain what is the problem that motivates research in your field. And after that, you can explain the literatures related with your research, what are prior researchers doing to solve the problem. Yeah, you have to critically analyze the advantage, give credits to prior researchers, not only dumping the data. Yeah, not only say A propose B, etc., etc., but try to to give credits. Yeah, if there is advantage, then you have to write, but remember you have to put the gap. Yeah, you have to put the research gap, and then after that you can say what the gap is, and try to enter to the method or your solution. And after that you propose the results. Professor Pakon already explained that it's better to start with the figures. It's true. Yeah, so if you have results, try to take important results, important figures and tables from the result, and then after that put at your draft, and then start to describe the result and try to discuss. This is the most difficult one. Yeah, if you read a lot of papers, then I'm pretty sure that you can discuss the result. Yeah, because discussion section uh, depends on how wide, how broad your knowledge in your field. Yeah, so the most important thing, you have to read a lot of papers so that you can discuss the result of the experiment, and after that you can close with the conclusion. Okay, so for the abstract, I think pretty similar with Professor Pakon's presentation. So first you have to start with the general issue. Yeah, this is, I think, one or two sentences, yeah, for the general issue, and then start with research problem or gap that motivates your research. Yeah, and after that you can write the methods, yeah, material and methods, or your proposed methods. And then the key results, you don't have to include all results, just the most important one in the abstract. And then after that you can write the implication of your results, yeah, the implication of your research. This is very important part of the paper, because people normally will download your paper based on the title and the abstract. Yeah, so please try to make sure good try to write a good abstract, so that people are interested to download the PDF and to read, yeah, all the contents of the paper. Okay, and then for the introduction, this is quite similar from another field. Yeah, first, of course, you have to explain the general issue, as I explained to you in the previous slides, and then what is the problem, yeah, of your research field, and then try to analyze the literatures, just like I present to you. Yeah, so you can cite prior works. This is simplified introduction, yeah, taken from my research papers. Please try to cite only relevant references. Yeah, don't abuse the citation. Yeah, just cite relevant references, yeah, because some reviewers, they check the references. So please try to only cite relevant references. Yeah, and then after that you can state the problem. Yeah, here I use a keyword. Yeah, however. Yeah, so after you describe what previous researchers did with their research, then you state what kind of problem that has not been solved up to today. Yeah, so you can use these keywords. However, blah blah blah, did not observe blah 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 blah, and then after that, at the next paragraph, you can state the proposed solution and the claim of the novelty. So you can use these phrases, yeah, to address these gaps or to tackle this problem, etc., etc. Yeah. Okay. So about the methods, yeah. First, the method should be replicable and valid. Yeah, this is the main point of methods. So you have to make sure that the other researchers can replicate, yeah, can replicate your work, and this is the main concern, I think, yeah, especially for the validity of the method. And for the level of details, you can observe from published articles in your field. Yeah, how much detail that you have to include in the method depends on different from fields to fields. Yeah, so you have to check and confirm in your own field. Yeah, and then please try to provide sufficient reasoning and justification for every single method or approach that you use in your research. For example, in my research paper, yeah, when I have to define how many participants should be included in the experiment, first I do the literature review, yeah, and after that, because the previous researcher did not specifically explain their method to determine the required sample size, I use the statistical method. Yeah, I use this software, G-Power software. Yeah, in order to get this number. Yeah, remember. So if you want to propose an approach, or you want to use a particular approach or method, then you have to justify. You have to provide clear reasoning why you want to use this approach, why you want to use those tools or apparatus, etc., etc. Yeah, and be careful on the grammar. Yeah, because you describe past events, then you have to use past tense. Okay, you have to use past tense. Okay, this is about the methods. And then for the figures in the results, you have to make sure that the figures seems produced professionally. Yeah, you have to make sure that the figures are in high quality. Yeah, the figures are high quality and professionally produced. Yeah, you can use a lot of softwares. Yeah, you can use technical software to produce high quality visualizations. In my field, for example, I use MATLAB, yeah, and Mathematica. This is for statistic, yeah, SPSS, GMP, etc. Yeah, the most important thing is clear, and then please make sure that you put, yeah, this one, yeah, caption, not caption, but information in the axis, yeah, information in the axis. Okay, and also the caption itself should be self-sufficient, because when the reviewers and editors read your paper for the first time, they will skim your paper and try to look at the figures before digging deeper in the results section. So try to create a self-contained figures, self-contained figures. Okay, so that readers, they don't have to read all of the results section. They know the whole story of your paper only by skimming your figures. Yeah, this is the art of scientific writing, I think. And then for the statistical analysis, I think you have to make sure that readers know whether your results are statistically significant or not by putting like this mark, yeah, in your figures, and then try to put information in the caption. Yeah, and then try to put error bars as well. Yeah, it's very important for experimental research. Yeah, because you have to give proper information about how the experiment went. Yeah, when goes or not, goes well or not when you conduct your experiment. Yeah, sometimes the error bars are high or low. Yeah, and you can describe, yeah, what is the standard deviation of your results, etc., etc. Yeah, and then you can use different colors or patterns. Yeah, but remember, if your paper will be published in gray scale or black and white, then it's better to use patterns instead of colors. Yeah, you have to take into account at first, yeah, before you submit your paper. You have to plan, yeah, whether your paper will be published in color or not. If your paper is published in color, then normally you have to pay more article processing charge, yeah, which is like a higher publication fee because your paper will be published in color. Yeah, okay, so now we have to discuss the experimental results. Yeah, when you discuss the result, please try not to not only to mention the results, but please try to to give interpretation of your results. Yeah, for example, here, yeah, this is how to discuss the result. Yeah, small statistical errors demonstrate that the proposed system is accurate enough to measure blah 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 blah. Yeah, and then if there is an error, then you have to identify, yeah, how the errors is produced, yeah, how the errors are produced, yeah, this one, yeah. So you have to analyze how you can how the error were produced, yeah. You can do the simulation as well, yeah. Just put the bias and then see the pattern of the errors, and then you can explain how the errors are were produced in the experiment, yeah. And then you have to compare. Normally, you have to compare your work, yeah, in our field, yeah. You have to compare your work with prior research works, yeah. So this is very important to show the readers that your research is better than prior state of the art. So then your research is useful for researchers in your field, yeah. This is quite unfortunate, yeah. In my field, negative results are quite difficult to be published, yeah. Even though that some journals, they also publish negative results, but normally scientific journals in my research field, they want the positive result, yeah. They want the improvement from the prior research works, yeah. Okay, so next is this is a problem. What if your results are not statistically significant? How can we explain? Yeah, okay, that's okay, no problem. If your result is not statistically significant, then you can give supportive arguments with literatures, yeah. So yeah, you can say that, okay, although statistical analysis shows no significant results, yeah, descriptive results of the SSQ, this is the questionnaires, confirm previous findings. See, I support my research with literatures, yeah. Okay, and then you can try to explain what is the meaning of those results based on the previous work, yeah. See, yeah, you can read full papers, the full information in my paper, yeah, if you want to read the paper in the discussion section. But here I try to show you how you can explain, yeah, that if your result is not significant, how can you deal with that, yeah. Okay, that's okay, you can explain this, but of course you have to support your result with arguments, yeah, with arguments from prior literatures, yeah. And then after that, please try to give some space for improvement, yeah. Define what are limitation of your work, yeah. Why this is important? Because if you can criticize your own work and try to give direction to other researchers, then you will open a possibility for other researchers to improve your work, yeah, to improve your work and perhaps to cite your work, yeah. So please try to critically analyze, yeah. This is normally come from the reviewer, yeah. If you submit a paper and then the reviewer try to criticize yourself, and then you cannot answer or you cannot fulfill the request of the reviewers, then you can put those disadvantages of your work in the discussion section. Okay, so you can explain what is the limitation, what is the disadvantage of your work, and try to give direction for the future researchers, yeah. What should the next researchers do, yeah, to improve the results? Okay, so good discussion will lead to citation. Remember, it's okay to have limitation, yeah. All of us are human, yeah. When we do experiment, of course we have limitation, but please try to explain how can other researchers improve the limitation. Okay, so this is the last slide. Yeah, the first thing that you have to remember is try to identify the contribution in your field. This is very important, yeah. Try to read a lot of papers and you will eventually find it, yeah. And then there are 4 important steps in preparing scientific articles, yeah. Identifying the target journal before experiment or before research, reading technical papers, yeah, effectively to identify the gap, and then try to create a good flow for your articles, okay. And then abstract and introduction are really important, yeah, because people will decide whether he will continue or not to read the methods and the result based on abstract and introduction. And then the last one, scientific writing is skill and art, yeah. You can learn the skill from any workshop, but the art of writing is gained by practice and experience. Okay, so my suggestion to all of you after joining this workshop is try to to implement, to apply all tips, all tricks that you get from this workshop in your own writing, and then let's see how it goes. Yeah, and you will get feedback and you can improve your skill based on your experience. I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sunu, for your presentations. Although you mentioned that it's quite overlap with the previous speakers, but it's not. It's really new in a different sites. Yeah, different insights. So we also have new information, new knowledge, new tips, and yeah, from you. Hopefully, it will give us a good. How should I say? Good tips which can motivate us and get ready to do our publication, and consider few things or not few, it's lots of things. Consider lots of things that you have been mentioned in your presentation. Yeah, Dr. Sunu. All right. Now, before we go to the next presenter, I would like to invite the participants. For those who already have questions, you can write down your questions in the chat rooms, or you can take some notes on your own if you want to directly ask to the speakers. And the Q&A session will be conducted in after the third presenter. Yeah. So, and also I've got information from the committee that the committee will provide the 3 best questions from the participants. Yeah. So Dr. Sunu and also Prof. Pakorn, you have to decide which is the best questions so that they will get the token from the committee. All right. Now, without further ado, we move to the third speakers. Ibu Fitri Hoirunisa PhD. Yeah, our third speaker is Ibu Fitri Hoirunisa PhD. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Should we read your CV first, or you can directly go to the presentation, Dr.
I can give my brief introductions.
All right. Okay.
Since
All
I'm also
right.
the the organizer for this activity. So actually, it's not totally equal with the previous lecture. Yeah, that's very comprehensive. I do believe all participants also would be agree with me. Both speaker, Prof. Pakorn as well as Dr. Sunu already provide us very informative information, systematic, right? As well as how to say a comprehensive and detailed guidance in terms of how about the structures of the article, and also explanation for each component, even though about the how to say ethical issue, yeah, and also the general guidance how to write. Even though Prof. Pakorn give us the brief information, how to submit the article until how to deal with the reviewer. Yeah, it's very
holistic.
Very holistic, very comprehensive. And the great thing as well, I agree with you, Butuji. Dr. Sunu also has a really unique view, that's really his best practice, that's very valuable for us. And yeah, it make perfect. It make how to say the knowledge for us, regarding to the paper preparations and so on. Yeah, I think perfect. So thank you so much. As I expected, we can get this kind of information.
All right.
And to complement up to a speaker before, so and also to avoid we are getting saturated with the same issue. So I would like try to move a little bit and maybe very quickly. I would like to introduce this. We also are limited by the time. So the other thing regarding to the publications, Prof. Pakorn as well as Dr. Sunu already deliver very how to say great workshop. Yeah, how we we deal with the good paper, yeah, for publication in general. But as we know, when we submit the article, it can be act as the research article or even though as the review journal. Yeah. For research article, yeah, of course, the data comes from our own work. Yeah, we do in the laboratory with the different background, I guess, from science, engineering, how to say, social sciences, and so on. And then, yeah, after we obtain the data, then, yeah, we do the procedure as Prof. Pakon and Dr. Sunu mentioned. But the other thing maybe that also provide the great opportunity for us to have publications, yeah, in my opinion, is also review journal. Based on my experiences, compared to the research article, yeah, writing the review journal is quite challenging as well. In terms of the structures of article, the guidance, the ethical principle, and so on, in my opinion, there is nothing serious, yeah, nothing significant to be different each other. But why I try to offer also this, yeah, as the additional information, as you know, almost 1 year we are in the social distancing, which is also restricted for us, yeah, to come to the laboratory doing the normal experiment as usual. But again, it doesn't mean how to say we dying, yeah. Bahasa Indonesianya kita mati gaya tak? Then yeah, we still can do writing, yeah. How to do, yeah, maybe review journal is one of the how to say appropriate choices, yeah, for us during this time. And as well, if we also have the limitations to do completely the direct experiment in our lab, yeah, with the colleges and other, also we still can write, yeah, through, yeah, another type of article, not the research article, but the review journal, yeah. So this is just for our information, yeah, for our motivation as well. And I would be more practical, yeah, and technical to deliver the informations based on my best practice, yeah. So here just I would like to show you, yeah, to realize us that how to say, if we deal with the review article, it's also great challenge, yeah, it's also great opportunity for us. So here I use one, how to say, a sign from Science Direct. And then if we try to, for example, yeah, since my work is related to here to biopolymer and composite, then for example, in the search engine, just we put one keyword, yeah, this to show us what is the merit of the review article. Yeah, if we put one keyword, then boom, at the very quick, yeah, we can get at least. It's also depend, yeah. We try to, we can even, how to say, more specific to put the year period. But so far, when we put this keyword, then we can get around 40,000 something result. It's been published, yeah. That can be a review article, that can be a research article, even though as a book chapter or encyclopedia. See, I just want to make it contrast for the review article and research article. Research article around 24,000 something, and review article about 1/3. So even though 1/3 still already huge, yeah, and also great opportunity. So what's we can reflect from here? Yeah, again, if we couldn't do the experiment, still we can write, still we can have publication through maybe the review article. Of course, we cannot, how to say, roughly doing a review for any paper. It must be, yeah, relevant with our how to say background, so we can do how to say careful analysis. Yeah, we can also provide the careful discussions and so on. So I guess this is maybe great motivations, not only for all participants, but also for me myself as information in our university. So during this COVID pandemic, yeah, we shipped the final project for students, yeah, from the, how to say, bachelor thesis, yeah, from the research result, yeah, from the laboratory, then it moved to become a review article. Yeah, we learn more, yeah, from this one. And in my best practice, when we deal with the review article, actually, we have more degree of freedom because, yeah, we can even determine, yeah, what the angle that we would like to set for our review, yeah, in terms of materials, even of the functions, even of the, how to say, for example, the activities, even of on the mechanism and so on, yeah. And yeah, as we know, the review journal, I guess, has really many, how to say, type, yeah, in terms of the way how the informations, yeah, present in the review journal. It can be a kind of the comprehensive information. So we try to collect, yeah, the information from many resources, yeah. And then we try to keep it. For example, if we would like to review about the chitosan, if we would like to prepare a kind of comprehensive review, then we can elaborate all things about chitosan, where it comes from, yeah, how the synthesize method, and then what's the properties, and then what's the function, and so on. Comprehensively, we describe in our review journal, yeah. Or even though it's just like the informative articles, yeah, just how to say, to summary from many articles, and then we try to put the outline. What kind of the informative? Of course, not only copy paste, cut and glue, but we have to make the structures similar with the research article, I guess, yeah, the way how to write. And even though some review journal also can be act as the critical article, yeah, we try to put our comment, our opinion in some certain result that been published in certain issue, yeah. It also can be prepared as a review journal. Or even though we try to find what is, for example, yeah, as we know, one topic, for example, related to the chitosan is already 40,000 something article been published. Then if we would like to try to find which is the, how to say, the content that been covered, yeah, that have not yet been covered by all article that been published, also we can do what's the strength, what the weakness, what the advantages, what also the disadvantages, yeah. If we could find this kind of thing, I guess, yeah, your review article, yeah, will be, how to say, really attract great attention from the audience, yeah. And even though we could try to provide the review article, which is, you try to provide the information from the several sources. The sources itself can become from your own work, or even though can come from other works, yeah, that relevant or related to your work, yeah. And by the end, later on, then you can put your recommendations how to improve, yeah, in the future, if someone, whoever, yeah, would like to proceed the research, yeah, or the, how to say, the investigations about the certain topic that you would like to do. So basically, when we prepare the review journal, yeah, as I mentioned, nothing different significantly with the research article. Yeah, mostly in terms of structures, we have, how to say, title, author, affiliations, abstract, and so on, as mentioned by two our previous speaker. But something that quite interesting in case of review article, actually we can make, how to say, in terms of the content, we can make some different difference, yeah, between research article and also review articles. And but in most case, if I check, yeah, based on my experiences, mostly they are consist of three things, yeah. In the abstract, it always mentioned about the introductions, could be a kind of motivations, could be about the aim of the review, yeah. And secondly, it followed by the problem, yeah, that we would the review, the, how to say, the author would like to review, yeah, what kind of the problem that they would like to cover, yeah, by doing this review. And then what's the result of the review, yeah, basically. Here for the example, yeah, I would like go very technical, yeah, based on my experience. So for example, here is the paper from this actually already the, how to say, the review article type, yeah, published in food hydrocolloid, for example. And then sometimes it's also very easily, yeah, to distinguish which one is the research article, which one is the review article. A kind of clue like this, yeah, usually, how to say, mentioned in the title. But if we see here, for example, this is the abstract that related to the title as listed here. So basically, if we try to organize this abstract, mostly, yeah, it consists of three main things that I explained before. So it consists of the introductions here, the author, yeah, in case of review, they try to show us the merit of the T polyphenol, yeah, the certain compound that can be used, yeah, for certain applications in food medical, yeah, to show that this review article will be interesting and will be useful. But again, how to show to the reader that this review article, how to say, can provide a solution for certain problem that been concerned by the author. They mentioned in the second sentence, yeah, here. And then, yeah, what's the solution that reviewer, not reviewer, that the author provide in his review for solving the problem? Then they mention here. And basically, in the review article, actually the solution, yeah, or the result that they how to say describe in the review paper is actually they obtained from the series activity, yeah, from the how to say amount of the paper. Yeah. In case of research paper, even Dr. Sonu read more than 50 to 100 paper. Here in review article, even I suggested you to read more. Yeah, sometimes even we have to read over 100. Yeah, to get more how to say comprehensive information, then it will also help us, yeah, to provide the good review, yeah, the good review article in this case. So if we check here, yeah, this part, and then if we here there are two content that try to how to say to describe, but to be described by the author regarding to the problem that been stated in the previous sentence. Yeah, basically the author concern about two concept, yeah, or about two issues. First is about the bioavailability of the polyphenol, and secondly about the fabrication method and also the potential benefit, yeah, of the material to be used. Of course, if we are talking about the polyphenol, we even can review from other side, yeah. That's why I said one time we do review, actually we have really, how to say, borderless for the degree of freedom, yeah, to do the review. But that's why even though the topic is very common, but still it can be published in terms of review articles, yeah. So if we try to conform to this one that I underlined here with the different color, so here actually the content. And this is actually the typical structure that can be found only in the review article. In the research article, we never seen this such kind of guideline. Yeah, because yeah, again, review article summary, a lot of informations. Yeah, come from many works. Yeah, from yeah over 100 something, and that's why yeah they have very, how to say, uh, detailed structures, yeah, in terms of description of the topic in the review. So basically like this. And if we check another paper, also this, the review paper, yeah, come from the progress in polymer science. Here, again, if we check the abstract, yeah, here quite a little bit, how to say, differs, but the main guidance is almost consistent. First, starting with the introduction, and secondly, it moved usually by problem, of sometimes the author even can be replaced, yeah, by can replace by the aim of the review. And again, in the last part of the paragraph here, yeah, they describe about the main topic they how to say author provide, yeah, in this review article. So again, if we check, yeah, compare again the abstract here, yeah, mainly in the third part, yeah, basically they would like to show about the properties, yeah, especially here is the intrinsic properties of the composite system. And secondly, yeah, they move to the other topic, yeah, about the difference of bio activities of the compound, yeah, that been produced. Of course, not completely 100% produced by the author, but could be, yeah, they summary from other related work, yeah. Yeah, but again, the structure is like this. The rest, how to write the introduction, how to use the citation, and so on. Yeah, also how to provide the figure, other thing. Absolutely, you can copy the, how to say, the general guidance that you've been, how to say, received from our both previous speaker. Yeah. So mostly in case of preparations of review articles, yeah, again, how to say, each author, yeah, each writer or each researcher has how to say their own strategy. Yeah, but in most cases, yeah, I totally agree with the strategy that been used by Dr. Sunu as well as Prof. Pakon. Yeah, mostly we apply the how to say the Riper's pyramid. Yeah, from the broad to the to the narrow. Yeah, but again, to make if you don't have any focus yet to how to say to do the review. Yeah, you even can do, yeah, the technique that been introduced before by Dr. Sunu. But if you already certain with the special topic, yeah, then you can focus to collect many information related paper, yeah, that would like to review, yeah, in your review article, yeah, as many as possible, and then yeah, try to check it one by one. Of course, not read from the first page to the last page for each paper, but yeah, we can do the special technique. Yeah, and mostly if you have any experience before comparing the research article and the review article, there also another different, yeah, not only about the how to say the structures in the beginning part of the article, but as well the data presentation. So mostly because here we review, yeah, we do analysis comprehensive, yeah, comprehensively, and then we do, for example, some comparisons about any parameters. Then just imagine if you review 100 article, it would be how to say more than confusing, yeah, if we just display the result using the sentence as uh, Propacon mentioned in the example, yeah, in case of review paper. In case of research article, it's already not a good way. Just imagine if you apply that way. So how to do that? Mostly, yeah, we organize the information that we extracted from the reference article that would be review in your article by, yeah, actually many methods. You can display the data within the table, or even though you can use the graph or other presentation. Yeah, as good as possible is better to prepare to, yeah, again attract the great attention from not only from the reviewer but also later on for the reader. Yeah, and if you can represent the data, a lot of data that you derive from so many paper that you use as the reference article, yeah, it also can help, yeah, to how to say, to extract the main things, yeah, the important informations, and the reader, yeah, will be easily to follow your summary, to follow your review. If you can do that, I guess, yeah, it's not easy for you to be succeed for the review article. So basically, in my best experiences, actually, the most how to say challenging part in the review paper is collecting the information due to the topic that been set, yeah, for our review. So yeah, of course, since we have degree of freedom, actually you can set from the beginning what kind of the issue that you would like to raise, yeah, and then what kind of, for example, if you want to compare the method of synthesize something, then you must concern with identifying any method that been established, yeah, in the publication. If you would like to how to say, to also highlight in terms of benefit, that you check, yeah, any benefit that been informed in the published article, yeah, related that, then later on you can tabulate. So it can be, yeah, many things, yeah, even though how to try to make the data that we been review from several paper here to be how to say set in our review article. Even, yeah, sometimes I often see the data just how to say represented by the author using the flow chart, yeah, not only the diagram, not only the table. So as interesting as possible, as systematic as possible. Again, the purpose is only how to present the data systematically, yeah, comprehensively, but it can still be easy, yeah, to be read and to be understood by the audience, yeah. And even though if necessary, yeah, we also can compare, yeah, in terms of the statistical aspect and so on. And here, just for your example, yeah, the way how we tabulate. Yeah, again, if you check many review articles, even though longer than this one, but again, they have the rule, yeah. For example, even though they have 100 data or something, then yeah, they have the parameter to be set for the comparison. For example, here the author would like to check, for example, what kind of the molecule that been used for preparing the composite system, and then what kind of the target application, yeah, that been mentioned in the paper, and so on. Yeah, what kind of the method, then like this systematically. This kind of review paper actually is very helpful for us who's still, how to say, designing, yeah, designing the research work for the future. Then we can quickly get the complete informations, yeah, here. Oh, if we use the precursor this with this method, and then the result will be like this. If we use this precursor with this application, and then we will receive the different, for example, result, and so on. It's very helpful. And yeah, here to show you how many reference here, already 81 something. So just you imagine, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, of course, here it's common to be found in the review article because, yeah, of course, every article has the different concern, yeah, has the different merit. Sometimes in this article, it been missed, but in the other article with the relevant topic, it doesn't, or it haven't yet missed, yeah. That's why not non-result, not result, not result, and so on. But no problem to show which part that we still can do research in this aspect, which result is already saturated. That's also the great information for us in doing review, yeah. Also the other way, yeah, for tabulating the informations, yeah, what kind of the finding, for example, what's kind of the, again, the precursor here that can be used, yeah, and what kind of the method. You can do any ways, yeah, as you like. But the other thing that which kind of the, how to say, tabulations or the diagram or other thing that can be used is depend on the data that you would like to set, yeah. Therefore, in the beginning, before you do, how to say, organization of the information, you need, yeah, to set the parameters. What kind of the topic that you would like to review, and then what parameter that have to be identified, yeah, to be, how to say, used as the main sources information that later on used for discussion in our review, yeah. Here, even though if someone, for example, concerned, yeah, in the review about the properties of certain compounds, gitu ya, and then yeah, they set the certain parameter, and then they compare. For example, if the the research of interest is about the fuel, as we know, fuel is many types: gasoline, methanol, ethanol, even other things. Then let's see what's the difference, what's the similarity. How about the boil temperature rings, and so on. And after we identified like this, we tabulate it, yeah, like this. Then later on, it will be easier for us to make discussion, to make analysis, yeah, and so on. I guess it would be very, how to say, variable, depend on the topic again, and depend on your interest to do, yeah. But mostly what's the next that we need to do, how we could imagine if we have to plot, yeah, the data become the table like that, or become a graph, yeah, with a series or with a lot of data. How we can do that? Actually, is not so difficult, yeah, to do, to plot like this. I guess it's not so difficult. How to make it possible? Again, in my best practice, the way how to do is, one time, for example, if I have interest, yeah, to review about Kaitasan nanoparticle, this too broad, I guess, the how to say, the keyword, yeah, even though you can put more detail, more specific keyword, yeah. Just imagine. So from here, yeah, if we can check the result, yeah, around 80 something from 40,000 something, as I mentioned before, and all is already in the review article. Just you click here, then the article that we can receive is only the review article. If you would like to have from the research article, then you click here and all about that. And the way for me to do a review is, of course, we have no enough time to read all article completely, yeah, each article completely. But how to do? Actually, we can use this feature, yeah. We have the abstract. If we click here, yeah, also extract and also export. So one time, if we how to say, check, yeah, and here before I forgot, in the left side, actually another, how to say, menu, yeah, that provided by the search engine, yeah. If you would like to specifically target it, the article from certain journal, you just can click it, and then it will be filtered. Only the paper comes from this journal will be appear. Yeah, and after that, the way how I select, how I collect the information. For example, the first article about chitosan-based nanoparticle against bacterial infections. Yeah, here I just click the abstract and then directly appear. Yeah, this is the fastest way, in my opinion, to do review. And then how to do? You just click export here. Yeah, if you click export and then just directly you click export citation to text, and finally we can get this. So just imagine if you have 200 how to say a paper that you would like to check as the sources for your review, you can do this. Yeah, like you just put it in the notepad or in your Word, and then yeah, finally you get the summary, and then after that you can identify, because basically the abstract consists of how to say introductions or motivation and aim, problem. Yeah, or in the normal article mostly how to say the introductions, yeah, could be yeah, a problem or how to say aim of the study, and then secondly about the method, and thirdly about the result. You got all things that you need for your review. Yeah, so just do like this, 100 article, then 100 abstract like this, and then we can quickly, yeah, we got the author name, we got the journal name, we got, and also we got the extract of the main information that been published in the article that can be used for the sources of our review. Yeah, yeah, we can do again. So that's the fastest way, yeah, to do the first step in the review. And after that, maybe in me case, sometimes I haven't yet decided the topic, yeah, or the concern for our review. But just I collected the article related, for example, about the chitosan nanocomposite. I got a bunch of the paper, and then yeah, do the same method as I described before, and then from the abstract quickly. Wait, or sometimes from the 200, we have 50 papers that's similar in terms of method, in terms of precursor, in terms of so on. And then that's the way, yeah, for doing review. We can start from the similarity, we can start from the differences, even we can start from how to say the benefit, yeah, the how to say the advantages of the research result that been exposed in the article. Yeah, so that's the first way for doing review. The rest, how to write the review article, nothing different with the research article. You have to do the same. Be careful with the plagiarism. Be careful with the grammatical error. Yeah, English, yeah, must be good. And then how to do the how to say the structures of the article, also almost similar to the research article. But just for your information, in case of the review article, to make because yeah, everyone can do review in many variety of the view. Then the thing that make your review article can be more remarkable compared to the others, even though the topic almost similar, is from here, in my opinion. Professional look, as Prof. Pakon and Dr. Sunu mentioned, yeah, they've been give us the really great example how to provide the professional looks on our article. Yeah, so this is the way. Maybe in the article that been cited for the sources of the review, they didn't have any kind of this figure, but when we do review, we try to deliver, yeah, our opinion in the review through the beautiful figure. Then it would be easier for the audience, yeah, for the reader to follow what actually the idea, the critic, or the analysis that would be delivered, yeah, by the author in the review system. Or even though they can provide, for example, here, maybe in the paper that been cited by us for doing review is still a kind of paragraphs, yeah. For example, in the result and discussion part, the author in the cited article mentioned that the mechanism of blah, 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 like the paragraphs. But then we try to retell with our own way. That's really great. And many accepted review article so far, based on my knowledge, yeah, provide this kind of the professional looks. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, you can create, and this that really typical that no one can copy, I guess. So this it will be great merit of your research article. So instead of your providing so many sentences or other, yeah, this would be very helpful. Yeah, and make your review article getting better. Yeah, or even though you can use any graphs. Again, this just imagine how many data that been displayed here. Maybe a certain article mentioned in the organ target for tumor, for liver. But again, here we summary. Maybe come from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 research article possibly, Or even though at the same species here, you have 4 again another paper, that been concerned with the similar organ target, in the liver, in the lung, in the spleen, and so on. So just imagine, this is the way. Just in case if we have to read in the each research article, it would be very time consuming. But one time we have the graph like this, so it's very useful. That's why, in my opinion, even though we have many opportunity to develop new innovations in the new research, but still the review article have the special place to help the researcher as well as the one who really need the scientific information, especially a kind of summary on something. And here is also another look, how to provide. Maybe if we provide in the sentence, it's just like 2 or 3 paragraphs, but again, by the figure, it can illustrate several results that been explained from several, reference article. And here is another example, I guess. Very, very unique. Even though almost similar, but the author provide the different, illustrations. To show the way how to analyze and also how to criticize. The result that been published in the research article and so on. I guess that's all, Bu Tusji. The rest for the technique how to write the review article, similar to the research article, no special term to be used. So if you can follow the the great guidance that been provided by Prof. Pakon as well as Dr. Sunu, I do believe whatever you are concerning about, if you would like to concern to write your research result directly, or you just would like to move to review article, it can be applied. Very well, in my opinion. Okay, Thank you so much, Bu Tusi.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fitri, for your insight about the review article, review paper. So, well, actually, this presentation from Dr. Fitri give us another insight as well, how to be still productive during this COVID pandemic, especially for those for you who really depend on the laboratory activity, So during this pandemic situation, we have limited opportunity to go to the lab, but it wouldn't decrease your opportunity to write, because we can do the writing, especially in a review paper. Okay, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to another session. We go to the Q&A session. Now, is there any participant who already have a questions, and you can raise your hand or you can drop your question in the chat rooms. I will invite the participants who are going to ask the question directly. Is there any? Well, if not, I will read the question that comes in the chat rooms. Okay, the first question comes from Ibu Siti Rahayu. The question is directed to Dr. Sunu.
I guess Bu Tusi has shortage here for the connection, Dr. Sunu. Maybe you can reply directly from the chat room.
Can you hear my voice?
Sure, very well.
Okay. So, well, I'm trying to read the questions here. Ibu Siti Rahayu, I'm chemistry teacher in senior high school of 11 in Tangerang Selatan, Banten. I have to follow my students' research and writing research paper about solution the paper waste in school. Okay, how to increase spirit of my students to read literature synthesis because they like to read information about literature synthesis from the teacher. Thank you very much. Okay, Ibu Siti Rahayu, thank you very much for the questions. I think the most important thing to be delivered to our students when we ask them to write the research paper, then you have to try to make them understand why they should do their job. So I will try to share my screen, my presentations.
Please.
Yeah. So I just copy and paste a slide of mine from another presentation. So can you see the slide? Motivation about the slide is about start with why, then trust. Yeah. So if you want to motivate the students, then you have to explain to them why they have to do a hard job. Yeah. This is actually taken from a motivational book by Simon Sinek. If you want to read it, I suggest you to read the book. It's a very interesting book, I think. So every big moment, every big event starts with reason. Start with reason. So whenever you can create a reason, whenever you can create why, then you will earn trust. So the most important thing to move people to do their job is to create a reasonable judgment for them. So the students needs a justification on why they have to do their job. For example, you can explain to the students about the benefit of getting published. Yeah. For example, they can use it for portfolio to apply scholarship when they have to go abroad. Then if they can present that they have a research paper, for example, that will be good for their future. Or perhaps you can explain to them when they have a research paper, scientific paper, then this is good portfolio when they have to join a competition, science competition, for example. Yeah, so try to find what is their future interest. Then you can explain, and then you can relate the job to what they are interested with for their future career. I think that's my answer, Bu Fitri.
Okay.
Okay,
I guess
Dr.
Butuzi
Sunu.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, Butuzi.
Yeah, sorry, just close connection, but
Yeah.
fortunately I can go back to this forum. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Ibu Siti, is the answer already? Is the explanation okay? Yeah. It relates with the motivation. Yeah. So how to make the students realize about the reasons, why do they have to do the literature review? All right, so yeah, Dr. Suno, thank you very much. And now I have to go to the question from Ibu Nenden to Prof. Pakorn. Is the validity of the data presented in reputable journals guaranteed? Do the reviewer check it? That's the question from Ibu Nenden to Prof. Pakorn.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Yeah, actually, from the point of view of reviewer, right? Doesn't matter we review for what kind of journal, right? With low or high impact factors. We always check or about the validity of the data. We always check the if there are plagiarism for the submitted manuscript, right? We check all of them. Now, however, there can be some cases that sloppy or fake manuscript can pass through the process and get published. This is, but if we consider, right, the high impact journal, they usually use high number of reviewer. For example, right, very good journal can assign 10 or 15 reviewer and they may get like 10 response back from 10 reviewers. So the chance for low quality manuscript to pass through the process will be very low. In contrast, like for low quality journal, the number of reviewer may not be so high, maybe only 1 or 2 comments, and the editor make the decision already. So the chance for letting low quality manuscript to get through may be quite high, right? So to summarize this, I would say for the good reviewer, everyone will check everything. And the high quality journal, right, you have more comments or more suggestion from many reviewers. Therefore, we can ensure that high quality manuscript can be published. But again, there are many cases of fraud review recently, right? Especially for like high quality journal as well. But when that was discovered, right, the paper will be retracted as well. So we can this can ensure us about the good reviewing process for almost every journal. I think this should answer the questions.
Yeah. I think because the main point is we have to give the best data, yeah,
Right.
give the valid data, because although probably some article can pass the reviewing process, but if it is found later on, they will be retracted, as you mentioned before, and it's so it's not really good track record, yeah, to make a bad history of the author itself, yeah.
Right, it's a bad record.
It's a bad
Right.
record. Yeah,
Right.
we have to avoid it. As you mentioned in your presentation, that we have to avoid that.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Pakorn. Okay, yeah, Dr. Suda and Prof. Pakorn, don't forget to nominate which question who will become the best question.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. All right. Now I have another questions, and the question also directed to Prof. Pakorn from Asep Surahman. The question is, do Scopus Index Journal accept papers that are only literature studies? How is, and also the second one, how is the strategy to increase the H index, and how about tips of writing well, like a prof?
Okay, yes. Actually, every journal, right, except review articles. I think Professor Priti also know this very well. And yeah, but for some like high quality journal, the review article may be only for invitation, by invitation only, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And for the second questions, additionally, for the first question, right, if sometimes if you write a very good review articles, you can get like a very high number of citations compared to normal articles, right? So it is also advisable if you can, right? You may want to write some review articles, and then even though it's go to medium quality journal, right? You still can get very high citation from that compared to normal articles. For the second question, how is the strategy to increase the H index? Yeah, H index come from 2 dimensions, like number of publication and number of citation. So what you need to do is you need to publish high quality articles, right, with high citation. That is the idea of H index. So it needs to be interesting, and the paper that you publish need to be interesting, not only number, right? So that is the idea. But how to increase the H index? Usually we want to increase the citation. So to increase the citation means you need to publicize your work, your published work. So the normal way that people do, I usually try to set up like online or researcher account, like I already talk about in like the very end of my presentation. You can put a copy of your paper, right, in ResearchGate, for example, but you cannot put the one that can be downloaded directly from the journal. However, you can put your own version before proof set from the journal, right? You can submit the version that you already revised, right, but not in the format of the journal, right? That is legal to post on the website, for example, because some researcher may not have access to journal, so they cannot download the article, but they want to read your work, right? So if you have an account like ResearchGate account, right, people just search from the internet and find your work, and then they can go to your account and download the version that can be available legally, right? So by doing this way, your work will be more visible, and also the citation will be increased, and that leads to increase in H index. Another way is you can try to do networking with many peers in your field, right? And this can, if you have people in your network and know your work very well, sometimes you can work together and publish together, right? Or even though you may not go to publish work together, but people from other groups, right, know your work, so they will tend to give citation to your work, right? So that also can increase the citation index as well, right? For the last question, how about the tip for writing well like a pro? Okay, yeah, I think we try to give some tips, right, to everyone this afternoon, and for all of the three speakers. But this also require like the skills. You need to try and work on more and more, and you will get
To practice, yeah.
the quality of work you get increased better and better. Yes.
All right. Just like learning how to ride a bike, we have to practice more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prof. Pakor. All right. Thank you very much, Prof. Pakor. Now, Pak Asep Surahman also have a question from Dr. Sunu. The question is, can archive articles on the website but not yet published be used as research reference? And can more than one scientific articles be made from one research data?
Yeah.
And how are tips of finding a research gap and theory? Is there any tips there?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the question. I think, first of all, when you want to cite articles, please make sure that the article already published or at least a peer-reviewed article, because you have to make sure that the reference are valid. Yeah, so normally when you publish the scientific articles to journal, the editor or reviewers will try to skim the reference sections. Yeah, as in my experience, at the time I was rejected because the references that I inserted in the reference sections, the paper that I inserted in the reference sections were too old, and the editor told me that you should cite research papers that were not too old, like 3 or 4 years prior to submissions. This is like a signal for me that the editors and reviewers also check the reference sections, and they will check whether the reference are valid or not. So please be very careful about this. So please try to insert only relevant literatures, and please try to not to insert Wikipedia or for example, articles that are not peer-reviewed or cannot be accessed by the reviewer. It's quite difficult for the reviewers to check the credibility of the references. Right. So please try to find the published version of the paper. If the paper already published, then please cite the published version instead of the the archive version of the paper. Okay. And then can more than one scientific article be made from one research data? Well, it depends. Yeah, not in all cases, I think. In some cases, yes, but you have to be very careful about the integrity of your career because when you use the same data and then you produce a lot of papers from those data, then somehow some parts of the paper will be taken from the other paper, right? Like you rewrite the new paper based on the previous work, and if you are not careful about writing the paper, then perhaps you will get higher similarity score in the manuscript. So please try to be very careful about this. And some editors suggest me not to split data. Yeah, this is controversial issue, I think. Yeah, some students, okay, we can split a lot of the data to be a lot of papers so that you have more papers. But this is editors normally want the whole data. For example, if you publish in a very high impact factor journal, they will ask the supplementary materials or supplementary information, and you have to provide them with your data. So they want all data that you use in the experiment, just to make sure that your research can be replicated by other researchers. Okay, this is what you have to take into account. Yeah, please try to keep in mind that if you publish in a high impact factor journals, sometimes they want your data to be published also as well. Yeah, because they want to make sure that your research is reproducible. Okay, and then how are tips on finding gap, research gap and theory gap in science and technology studies? I think similar with what I have presented in my presentation. Yeah, you have to read and try to find common disadvantages from research papers. Yeah, and then try to create a table. Yeah, this is the easiest way for entry-level researchers. Try to identify what are missing. Yeah, what is the missing link from the previous work. This is first way that you can do. But another way, this is based on my best practice also, you can try to replicate the paper in your research and then try to evaluate the results. Yeah, if you find shortcomings or disadvantages in the results, then you can use it as a gap. Yeah, you can explain it as a gap in your upcoming papers, and try to improve the results based on the experiment that you conduct. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all my answer. I hope it answered the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sunu. Next question from Arvina. Which comes to the committee's message. Yeah, if a researcher collect a lot of data, it is really similar with the last question to Dr. Sunu. Yeah, what about if the researcher collect a lot of data in the same experiment or sample? Is it advisable to splitting the data to optimize the number of articles, thus saving time and money? It's really similar with the previous question, but what happens if the data is really in a big number? The question is directed to Prof. Pakorn. Hello, Prof. Pakorn? Are you still there? Yeah.
So this question, so the data here means the data of from the experiment, right?
Yeah. If a researcher collect a lot of data in the same experiments or lot sample, so it is.
I think if the data come from like similar experiment, it means repeat measurement, so that can guarantee the the what we call accuracy of our measurement, something like that. This can be accessed by statistic, right? So we can decide how many sample or how many experiment should we do to have the data that accurate enough, right, or good enough to represent the real behavior, right? So this is the key. So we need to use statistic. But in general, right, uh, if we have a lot of data that come from different experiment, or if we have the same measurement but we use slightly different sample and try to split this in result into separate paper, separate manuscript, right? That is also not advisable. This fit into the scheme that we call salami, where we try to slice meat into many pieces, right? And like Dr. Sunu just said, reviewer or editor do not like this, and sometimes if we see something like this, it will be rejected right away. Right?
Yeah.
It is better to combine comprehensive result, right, on one sample, right, into like a, a paper that and then submit it to high impact journal, something like that. It is the way that we do, right? Not just splitting the data and then send more than one article to different journals.
Yes.
That is not advisable.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. Pakon. So, although the data is a very large number, we can use it as a higher accuracy of our research. Yeah. So
right.
it's not advisable to splitting the data to numerous articles. Yeah. We can increase our the value or the validity of our data if we have lots of data. So we can submit it into the high level of journal probably, yeah. Okay, yeah, Prof. Pakorn. Thank you very much. Now we have a question from Pak Asep Surahman again to Dr. Fitri. What is the effect of index journal on the journals we submit? For systematic review, can we use systematic review articles with the same theme?
Okay, Pak Asep, thank you very much for the questions. Prof. Pakon, Dr. Sunu, correct me if I'm wrong. So far, based on my knowledge, actually, there are several cluster of the papers. Yeah, one is non-index. Second one is index journal. Yeah, it can be by Scopus, Scopus, ISI, and so on. And the higher from that is impacted paper. Yeah, non-index journal, index journal, impacted journal. Actually, all is paper, but different quality. How to say? It also correspond about the procedure. Start from the submission, how the review process occur, and so on. So impacted journal, of course, for example, not all paper can be how to say, or has the impacted paper. Yeah, some commonly in our country, maybe still, for example, indexed by Sinta or something. Yeah, but the impacted one usually correspond to the, how to say, yeah, again, to the quality of the paper itself, the quality of the quality of the information that provided there. That's why from Prof. Pakon explanation in the beginning of his presentation, there also the quartile, yeah. That also correspond, yeah, the cluster of the paper, yeah, that again correspond to the quality, to the, how to say, to the content of information that available there. Yeah, if we do review, of course we can select any information from any kind of resources. But if you would like to have the information, the data that more reliable, yeah, I suggest you to choose the one, yeah, if possible, from the impacted journal. Yeah, it can guarantee you the quality of data, the quality of method, and so on. Yeah, but how to say, if you have no choice, yeah, again, you also even though can do review, even later on maybe you can put your critic, yeah, on the result from the non how to say, index journal or something. So yeah, it depends on your purpose, but yeah, again, for the good review story, for the good review result, I recommend you to use the impacted journal. Maybe it's better. Yeah, that one. And the
Yeah.
second question?
Can we use systematic review articles with the same theme?
Yeah, of course, if we set the same, the theme means the title. Yeah, in normal case, even though we prepare the research article, maybe it's not allowed, yeah, to copy directly the how to say, the title of the article. One time we prepared the review article, but maybe I just try to be how to say, more overestimate. Maybe the theme is that mean, how to say, the scope, yeah, of the topic that would like to deliver. For example, in social sciences, yeah, if we talking or even though maybe in engineering, for example, in case of Dr. Sunu field, or even though in Propacorn field, like the polymer composite. So one time we are concerned to review something about polymer composite. Yes, we can. But what is your main concern? What is your specialty to be reviewed on your article? In term of polymer composite, if you would like to talk about the how to say, for example, the new innovations in term of procedure, yeah, or in term of the new technique for characterization, you can. But all thing that you review is about, for example, the characterization aspect and so on. For example, I'm not sure about the second question, yeah, the meaning. But yeah, in case of any paper, it's not allowed to copy paste 100%, yeah, directly similar. That one.
All right. Okay, thank you, Pak Asep. Hope it will answer your question. Yeah. Now we're going to go to the next question from Cynthia Lestari. The question is to Dr. Fitri. Yeah. What is the difference about review articles and narrative review? Because I have created, or she has created the narrative review, and there is no difference between the both. What is the review article? What in the review article? The title of the article really determines what the article we submit is accepted or not.
Okay, thank you, Bu Sinta, for the questions. So first about the actually narrative review is a kind of review article. Yeah, all is about review article. Review article, as I mentioned before, it can be a kind of the comprehensive review. If about it can be about the narrative review, yeah, descriptive one, or even though it could be a kind of the critical review. So you can choose. Yeah, yeah, look similar, yes, because narrative review is the review article. So maybe that's the quick answer for that one. And then what in the title? I guess, yeah, title determine a lot. Dr. Sunu and Propakon already put really great strategy, yeah, the great guidance, how to make your article accepted from the title, from the title. So yeah, title is the first expose of our result to the readers, to the reviewer, and so on. So if our title, how to say, too short as Propakon provided in the example, yeah, or too long or not clear, yeah, of course, it's the most factor, maybe, yeah, one of the major factor to be how to say, to be rejected. But again, in my opinion, sometimes I'm not sure if Propakon or Dr. Sunu have been discussed, but the most thing that also important, one time you proceed for submission, please consider the scope of the journal, because one journal can be accommodated to, yeah, not only the research article but also the review article. So review article can be also submitted to the same journal as the research article, yeah. But the most important thing, one, what is the parameter that how to say, set our paper can be accepted or not, can be flew from the submission to the review and so on, is the relevancy to the scope of the journal. You can check many, even though the national journal, local journal that we have in our country, again, in the home page of the journal, yeah, it always mentioned the scope of the paper is about blah, 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 blah. Wherever research article or review article, yeah, would have this, how to say, the same opportunity as long as it's relevant to the scope journal. Even though your journal is very great, your result is very awesome, but if you send, yeah, the article, the manuscript to the journal that scope is really, how to say, contrary,
Good.
yeah, then, yeah, again, high possibility your journal will be resent, yeah, resent to your email.
Send back.
Yeah, resent back, something like that. Or maybe Prof. Pakon or Dr. Sunu can add maybe my explanation based on their experiences.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Sunu, are you going to add some more explanation?
I think explanation of Dr. Fitri is complete, I think. Very comprehensive explanation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sunu. Prof. Pakon, do you want to add some information or additional explanation about this matter?
Yeah, I think the answer is already very clear. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. In the chat, yeah.
Maybe I would like to add some information regarding to the Pak Asep questions. So regarding to the how to say paper that has not been published, yeah, but we would like to refer Dr. Sunu, if I'm not mistaken, in several paper, especially for really current issue, even though we can put the reference from the paper, but yeah, of course, we put, for example, we cite the certain reference, but still in proof, for example, in the paper, in the reference. So in proof mean the article been accepted, but in the processing for the publication, I guess maybe it's still acceptable, yeah, to be used for the reference, as long as it's very, how to say, very hot very hot result and very interesting, very remarkable result.
Yeah.
I've been many time, yeah, experience looking for that, such kind of.
That's acceptable, given that we can give explanation to the editors that the reference we cite in our reference sections is already peer reviewed.
Accepted.
Yeah, accepted. Yeah, this is okay, I think, no problem.
Okay, yeah. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Fitri. It's already for 1 minute past 4, so I think, well, actually I have 3 questions for you, but maybe in the back screen. All right, yeah. Now I think this is the end of our session, but before we close the session, we would like to invite the speakers to mention the nominated best question, yeah? So from Prof. Pakon, which question that will be nominated to be the best question?
Oh, yeah, it is a very hard decision to make. I may go with Asep Suraman.
Okay, yeah. Pak Asep Surahman.
Okay.
Yeah, Pak Asep Surahman, you have chosen by Prof. Pakon, yeah, to be the best question, the best participants with the best question. All right, thank you very much, Prof. Pakon. Now, Dr. Sunu, who is your nomination?
Yeah, I think there are 2 questions for me. Yeah, one's from Bu Siti Rahayu and the second from Pak Asep. So Pak Asep already chosen by Prof. Pakon. Nothing left for me, so I choose Bu Siti.
Okay, Ibu
as the second best participants, yeah.
Participants, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunu. Yeah, congratulations, Ibu Siti. Yeah. Okay, from Dr. Fitri, who is your best question?
Okay, to avoid any duplication for the winner, thank you, Dr. Sunu, for your great idea. Then, yeah, I will share the opportunity for this token. Yeah, maybe Bu Sinta, yeah, worth it to have this token. Congratulations, Bu Sinta. Thank you for your question.
Okay, yeah. So the three best question goes to Pak Asep Surahman, and then Ibu Siti, Siti Rahayu, and Ibu Cynthia Lestari. Yeah. Okay, now here it is. Prof. Pakorn, this is the time for us to deliver the certificate, the honorable, yeah, for the honorable speaker, Prof. Pakorn, yeah. The committee, well, actually the head of this program, the chief of this program is Dr. Fitri. So I would like to invite Dr. Fitri to formally deliver the certificate to Prof. Pakorn, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bu Tusi. So actually, before we deliver this, our how to say, extend gratitude, yeah, for very excellent and how to say wonderful contribution from our both invited speaker. I would like to give the opportunity for both invited speaker to deliver the closing remark, maybe a kind of motivation for all participants to avoid the headache, as Dr. Sunu said, yeah, yeah, as the closing remark for all participants. So please, Prof. Parkon, and then later on continue by Dr. Sunu.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much again for the invitation for me to participate in this program. I enjoy this session very much. It is very interactive, especially in the question and answer session. And I do hope that the tip that all of us, like the three speakers, sharing with the audience today, I can motivate or inspire, right? Especially students, right, to work harder and also try to gather all the information, the results, and try to write like high quality articles or papers and submit them to high impact journal, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you.
And
yeah, okay, thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sunu for the closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Tusi. Well, actually, writing is a process, yeah. Writing is a process, so you cannot expect to be a professional writer one day after you join this workshop. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. So you have to start from the very smallest action that you can. For example, start to apply the suggestion from all speakers in the workshop. Yeah, try to read good papers, just like Bu Fitri said. Yeah, if you want to be a good writer, please choose good references. This is very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, try to find good papers and try to see how other researchers, how other professionals write the papers, and then try to duplicate the style, not the content, but the style, and then try to implement the style to your own paper. Try to submit and getting feedback from the reviewers. I think if you get feedback, if you get feedback from the reviewer, and then you try to answer the reviewers, try to write the response paper, it's very big advantage for you, because normally in a scientific writing workshop, people only deliver how to write the paper, but not to respond the reviewers. Yeah, it's part of your personal experience of yours, so you have to try it. Yeah, so you have to do your job by yourself and then try to improve your skills. I think that's all for the closing statements.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sunu. Now also, I would like to invite Dr. Fitri for the closing statements before you pass the certificate to the speakers.
okay, Bu Tusi, totally agree with the how to say special notice from Prof. Parkon as well as Dr. Sunu. That's totally right. Nothing instant, yeah, Pak Sunu, for writing. So don't ever try to do cheating, to do how to say business with the writing. But yeah, we have to practice. We have to start, yeah, from the beginning. Then you can learn step by step. Yeah. I guess Dr. Sunu, Prof. Pakon come to this stage is not instant. It's very long process, but with yeah, really how to say intense, yeah, hardworking, how to do the good writing, and especially in my case, I'm still learn a lot from both of the speaker, especially through this program. Yeah, just also the short introductions. So the World Class Professor Program is a kind of great aid from our ministry, yeah, from our government to support a lecturer, researcher who deal with writing, yeah, for publication by connecting the researcher and lecturer with the how to say professor abroad who has really great experiences to share with us. So that's Prof. Pakwan said, widening your networking, yeah, strengthen your networking. That also, I guess, the best way how to do, yeah, how to deal with the good publication. Just my how to say success story with this world class professor program. So since 2018 so far to now, we can publish in the Q1 journal, yeah, of course with the great aid from our invited world class professor. So again, through this program, I also learned, yeah, everyone have to improve. And thank you so much, Prof. Pakon. Thank you so much, Pak Sunu. Now, I behalf of the organizer of this activity, forward class professor, really meet our expectations. Yeah, so we really how to say pleased and satisfied. Yeah, to have both of you here to share not only with me and the committee of the world class professor, but also to the participant in how to say broader field. That's also the main target of this program. Not only benefit for I as the how to say as the organizer, but also to the other colleges. Yeah. So hopefully this activity can always inspire us and also motivate us to be better, to write better, and to publish better. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Fitri. Now, yeah, this is the certificate virtually given to, will be from you, Dr. Fitri, to deliver the virtually.
You can, Bu Tuzi. How could I
Okay,
send
right.
the certificate for myself?
Right, yeah.
I give my certificate.
Oh, right, yeah. So this is the formal and session. We, on behalf of the committee, Dr. Prof. Pakwan, yeah, we would like to deliver virtually the certificate. Probably Dr. Fitri will organize on also with the committee to also send it by post, yeah, to Professor Pakwan. Thank you very much, Dr. Prof. Pakwan, yeah, for your
Thank you
contribution.
very much. Thank you.
Not only in WCP, but also in this special forum, yeah. Okay. Now the second one is the certificate for Dr. Sunu Wibirama. Thank you very much for your excellencies in
thank you very much
yeah,
to
the new insight.
Fitri and all
Okay.
committees.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Sunu. And the third one is to Dr. Fitri. The certificate is to Dr. Fitri. Yeah. Thank you very much also, Dr. Fitri, because what you have been presented here is not only give us new site for do the reviewing, but also to get motivated to write. Yeah. I think not only the participants, I also as a moderator also learn more, but learn much, yeah, from all the three participants. Thank you very much. Three speakers. Oh no, yeah. I have learned from the three speakers to not only to write, but also to get self-motivated to do literature review and also to write. Okay, once again, on behalf of the committee, I'd like to say thank you. And I think this is the time for us to end the session.
Yes.
Okay, I will end the session by saying Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I hope that we can meet again one day in the next future.
Sure.
And hopefully the pandemic will get over soon. Okay, and the vaccine will be found, and then we can do our previous activities. Yeah. Okay. Once again, thank you very much, Professor Pakorn from Thammasat University, Thailand, Dr. Sunu from Universitas Gadjah Mada, as well as Dr. Fitri from Indonesia University of Education. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for your great participating. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Pakorn. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wish you a great day
Thank you.
and great weekend. And see you
Yeah.
again next week, Prof. Pakorn.